Welcome to No Apologies on Beck, where we are unafraid to speak the truth. I am your host, Rick Becker. Lori Hintz is our co-host.
Yes, I am. Glad to be here.
So, any fallout from when we went off on the crazies, the fibbing,
Which time?
the fibbing, no integrity crazies? I haven't heard anything.
I haven't
there's
either.
No
I have not
pushback.
heard any feedback yet on that either.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we've got a good show for you tonight, folks. We're going to talk about an executive order from Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. Cody Schuh is going to be talking about gun bills, ATF director, a couple of other things. We're going to be having fun with that. Mailbag is coming up, and off the cuff, because tonight is our last show for the week. But the next couple of nights, you are going to have
Best of.
best of.
Yeah.
Okay,
Encore
encore.
presentations.
Oh, yes, that's what I was going to say. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We've got Executive Order number 51, I guess this is.
I know, right?
And this is the Memorandum on Advancing the Human Rights of Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, and Intersex Persons around the world.
Now, look, can I just say that it used to be LGBTQ, and now it is LGBTQI+, and I can't keep up with the,
Right.
you keep adding additional letters, and I'm having a hard time keeping up with these like
Right.
this. So,
They used to have, well, let's go ahead and take a look at this.
okay.
This memorandum reaffirms and supplements the principles established in the Presidential Memorandum Order of December 6, 11, International Initiatives to Advance Human Rights, Lesbian, Gay, Leda. The memorandum for the first time directed executive departments and agencies engaged abroad to ensure the United States diplomacy and foreign assistance promote and protect the human rights of LGBTQ. So that came from Obama.
Obama's administration.
Yes.
Right.
And so what this is doing is, in essence, just saying, hey, we want to reestablish this and reaffirm. And frankly, it's a lot of talk. It's a lot of chatter, and I'm going to get into that with you just a second here. What I was going to say is it used to be LGBTQIA for asexual.
Right, and now it's I for intersection sexual.
Right. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
But I thought it was interesting to throw asexual in there because I know some of my guy friends would say that they know some people who would fall into that category. Anyway.
I just was confused because they keep adding, and then I understand the plus. That means that's all inclusive with everybody else
I don't
that
know.
is
They
marginalized in their minds.
I don't know what intersex is. Frankly, I don't know what queer is.
I don't either. It's not defined necessarily anywhere.
I don't know.
Have you ever seen it defined?
Nope.
So.
Nope, I haven't. It's just words. Okay.
Yep.
Let's go ahead to the second graphic. We've got a few here right in a row. All human beings should be treated with respect and dignity and should be able to live without fear no matter who they are or whom they love. Well, that's absolutely true.
I don't really know anybody who disagrees with that.
No.
I really don't.
I know. I don't know anyone who disagrees with that either. Let's pop to the third graphic. The United States belongs at the forefront of this struggle, speaking out and standing strong for our most dearly held values. And let's go to the fourth one. I want to talk about it after this next one here. It shall be the policy of the United States to pursue an end to violence and discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, sexual characteristics, and to lead the power by our example in the cause of advancing the human rights of LGBTQI+ persons around the world. All right, so what we're getting at is this is a global initiative.
Correct.
Again. And so what it's coming down to, I think this is, again, hypocritical, and why it's a lot of talk but not walk, is with the Biden administration, what they seem to be most concerned with is the Muslim countries, right? And they're not so concerned with the Christian countries, and they may feel that the Muslim countries are more oppressed or whatever it might be.
Right.
But here's the thing, is they're allowing a double standard. They are
Correct.
so concerned about women's rights, and they're so concerned about LGBTQI+. But in those countries, that's where the rights of women and the LGBTQ people are most infringed upon.
Agreed.
I mean, if you, in some of these countries, not only if you are a woman, you have no rights, but if you're homosexual, you'll be killed.
Yep, thrown off a building. It's true.
But they come with these lofty platitudes about how they want to change the world and lead by example, but they keep doing business and they keep propping up the countries that are the worst offenders.
With actual airplane loads of cash, as a matter of fact, even if you think about it. And every country in the Middle East, other than Israel, basically criminalizes these things. But there's nothing said about religious persecution in any of these things. That's where it's a double standard for me, because people of various religions are the ones who are being literally, those are the people who are being persecuted. And not necessarily, I mean, what is the percentage of LGBTQI plus folks? There's a very, very small percentage, especially compared to those people who are attempting to practice their religions in China, for instance, or all sorts of other countries.
Yep.
That's the double standard to me. That's just where it's so hypocritical.
Well, it is, because what they are doing is picking what plays to their far left base, and that's going to be the LGBTQ. But it doesn't match up. The rhetoric doesn't match up with the actions, because they keep doing business and they keep propping up these countries. And if they, as you alluded to, there are so many other areas of human rights concerns. The Christians that have been killed in some of these countries, in Turkey, for example, the Uyghurs are Muslim, but again,
but still, I mean,
the Christians in China, along with the Uyghurs,
right.
they're in concentration camps. I've been to a couple presentations. So the problem is we have selective outrage for a group of people for the sole purpose of playing well at home, and yet the actions isn't matching at all. And I think it's, I don't know, they need to be called out, I guess, is what we're doing, but.
As I was looking at this too a little later on, they said that they were talking about all the different agencies that have to actually abide by this memorandum. So this memorandum is for all of these agencies involved with foreign aid assistance, development programs, et cetera. And the agencies have to do reports in about 180 days, it said in the memorandum, and which puts them at about July 4th. I thought that was really interesting, because this came out on the 4th of February. So this was Joe Biden's 51st memorandum or executive order, and 180 days puts you right at about 4th of July, which I thought was interesting as well.
Yeah. Well, so that it's an interesting one, and naturally we are going to be supportive of anyone's rights, whether they're homosexual or heterosexual.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that's the whole thing about America. That's how we were founded, was to be able to, everybody has unalienable rights. And so to me, when you're picking and choosing somebody like this, a particular small, narrow group, it seems like that is just the opposite of what you're trying to do.
Right. And why not, if you're in that community, why not hold the administration accountable for their rhetoric? Exactly. Say, yay, Biden, you're all for us in the gay community. Why are we supporting countries that are killing people that I identify with?
Yep, so
I don't know.
Very true.
I do not know.
All right, when we come back, we are going to bring Cody Schuh in, and we're going to talk guns, guns, guns.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
All right, welcome back. It's No Apologies on Beck and...
Do you want me to what? Are you confused?
No, I just caught myself sounding like another. Okay.
Oh, all right. I'm going to explain this a little bit really quick before we get to Cody. So we were told in the interim on the break there that Beck Sports presents live hockey coverage of the ACHA Division II National Tournament this weekend on Beck. So that'll be on Thursday, Friday, and Monday. No Apologies will air on Beck.News. If they do get their hockey game done a little early, I'm told it's possible that the encore presentation will air after that, but you can always find it at Beck.News. All right, now we got to introduce Cody Schuh here, political commentator Cody Schuh on Guns, Guns, Guns.
I guess, guns.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
A lot has been going on in the legislature.
Yeah, you're a busy guy.
And I tell you what, the legislature, I think, has been doing a really good job.
Yeah, I agree. You guys are doing some really good work. Prior sessions, it's always been a pain to follow the gun bills because it seems like they never get anywhere. So the committees, they always get killed off or people testify against. Sometimes it's law enforcement. They're like, well, we don't really need this. We ran into that with constitutional carry where they kept saying, well, do people really need to be able to carry a gun? And then it's like, well, yeah, they do. And but yeah, you guys have been really busy.
So what's the difference?
Difference, I think, is the fact that most people now know that it's very politically unkind to be anti-gun, especially if you're a Republican. Yeah. Before there's a middle ground. It was like, well, there's the pro-gun Republicans and there's the moderate Republicans who are, I hate to be that guy, but during the Reagan administration, there was a lot of Republicans that were on the fence with gun control. Yeah, Brady.
Era, yep.
Yes. And some of them, weirdly enough, are still in office because, that's just kind of how politics works. But that generation still has issues with people owning firearms that have easy access to them.
And I think we had, a couple sessions ago, had constitutional carry pass. Yep. Or, I prefer to call it permitless carry because it's not constitutional yet. But we had that pass, and I think people could see well, that really had no untoward effects whatsoever. Right. And then there was also last session, right? Was it the red flag bill, or was that the session before too? So anyway, so those that were sort of leaning more in favor of that kind of thing kind of got beat up, and I think there's a better awareness. And I tell you what, I will take it. And nearly all of the gun bills originated in the House. and nearly all of them were passed in the Senate. And so,
Fantastic.
Bravo.
Yay, Senate. Bravo.
Bravo. So what I want to do, Cody, I've got them kind of, I guess, in random order. There are 8 gun bills here that we can kind of take a look at. We may not get to them all, but I want to get your thoughts on them. So the first one is 1297. It's by Ben Koppelman. And this one, it's, some of these are baby steps, right? And so this one kind of clarifies 2 points, if I recall correctly. One, in churches, instead of having the religious leader identify individuals, it allows them to open it up and say, we're going to allow it, a whole class of people, say all the deacons, or everyone with a class 1 concealed weapon, or everyone. So it completely opens it up for the church. The second thing it does is a sports or an athletic event used to be a place where you could not carry concealed. It's now better defined, or the scope of that is narrowed so that it's a school-sponsored athletic event. That passed in the House and in the Senate. It had some changes. The House is going to concur. This will become law, assuming the governor signs it. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I think it's a good idea to anytime that we can expand the individual's right to carry, especially in situations where we've seen mass shootings happen before. I mean, if we recall, there was a sporting event in D.C. where the Republicans were playing softball and they got shot up by a Democrat. Remember that?
Police, yep.
Remember that? It wasn't a Republican shooting Republicans, it was a Democrat shooting at Republicans.
It was.
But anytime that we can expand everyone's rights and make it easier for people to defend themselves without having to get like special security involved, why not?
Right.
And think about it. You've got churches, lots of people. Sporting events, lots of people.
Right. Most mass shootings, almost all of them, happen in gun-free zones. So
almost all of them.
This makes it so that the gun-free zone is a little narrower. All right, House Bill 1248, also by Ben Koppelman. This is another nice little increase. So what North Dakota law has it so that cities and counties can't make an ordinance that's more restrictive than state law for firearms, which is fantastic. This one increased it so that there's no workaround with the zoning ordinance, that they can't zone so that you can't sell because it's not within zoning. And it also makes it so that if a person, it says an aggrieved person, if you have a claim where your rights are being ignored or trampled upon because they are doing that, this gives you the ability to bring civil action against the political subdivision, meaning the city or county. I think this is pretty nice. It's small, but it's a real nice step.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I know I believe it was Fargo, where it's almost impossible to set up shop as like a local FFL in your house and whatnot. And this gives people the ability to, put up that ability to fight that, because the city municipalities or whatnot, a lot of times they try to zone you out because they think that if you have a FFL, federal firearms license, so you go through the background checks, you go through the whole 9 yards, they, for whatever reason, think you're just selling guns at your garage, which is obviously not true.
Right.
But it gives people the ability to fight back. And anytime, I'm a firm believer that anytime you can fight back against the government and give them more of the kind of stuff that what we have to deal with every day, the better,
Yeah, I think this is a good one to have. And like you said, it kind of hones in on Fargo. And they seem to have a real proclivity for accepting gun restrictions. And I see that from the police chief in Fargo and West Fargo.
Well, I mean, they were, Fargo and Grand Forks, both the police chiefs there were very pro-red flag,
Yeah.
And I mean, they're not your friends. And, we always say like, hey, back the blue or be pro-law enforcement, but some of these leaders in law enforcement are not pro-gun, and you need to remember that. And when it comes to times for elections or when people need to get appointed, you need to ask those questions because...
Great reminder.
Especially for the sheriffs. A lot of sheriffs are very pro-Second Amendment.
A lot of them are, but if they're not, you need to hammer down on them.
Well, and they answer to the people, which is the wonderful thing about sheriffs. All righty, so 1498, also Ben Koppelman. He had at least 4 good gun bills.
Yeah.
This is use of deadly force. So this just makes it so that you're not as restricted. If you are legally allowed to be somewhere and you're not doing an unlawful activity, you are able to defend yourself and not try and run away first or prove that you...
This is not the one where you have to... was this the one that was adjusted instead of having to be threatened and actually try? Okay, try...
Well, there were a couple. This is one of them that passed. Also, remember the lawyer and his wife that were out brandishing their weapons and then they were charged. This also allows for that.
Yeah, well, anytime that
protect themselves.
Anytime you have to use deadly force or the idea of deadly force, I mean, it's obviously, people don't play around with that for the most part. And the fact that before that you almost had to play a game with someone who's trying to kill you of tag,
You go,
hide
should
and
I
seek.
try to hide or should I?
I
Yeah,
just
there's
think
way
that
too
is,
much thinking involved.
and it is North Dakota. It's not North Dakota smart. You know, it's like we need to be able to defend yourselves against someone who's trying to take your lives without having to play checkers with them.
Yeah, well, exactly. All right, 1283, this is one of my bills. And I had someone contact me today. They wanted an update. I said, watch the show. We definitely got to hit this one. So this is where if we saw something like the Sabika Sheik HR 127 or any of Biden's executive orders. So what this does is it starts January 1st of this year. So it's retroactive to that point. For any gun law, regulation, or executive order that's more restrictive than state law, state and local law enforcement cannot enforce that. Now in the Senate, they added some amendments. A person could say it weakens it. I don't think it's that bad because what we're trying to do is protect law-abiding citizens. This makes it so that state and local law enforcement could go after it if they were also involved with some other felony, state felony, or kidnapping, so you can go after it. I don't think that's a problem. This, I think, is fantastic. It passed both houses. There was a change. There's going to be a concurrence. The conference committee met today and came up with wonderful amendments. This is going to be phenomenal. North Dakota would have been the 5th state, but I think another 1 or 2 states has already beat us. So anyway, we're going to be in the top.
It's a minor, almost nullification of the national stuff. So
I think it's a great bill because what we have to do is keep up a fight. And unfortunately, when you have an administration like this who does not care about facts or logic, as you guys just talked about the last segment, I mean, we are dealing with an administration that has no idea what they're doing. So if we can defend our Second Amendment more at home, and let's face it, they don't have enough people to enforce a lot of these laws or executive orders on gun control without the help of local law enforcement. So if you tie their hands and say, hey, we can't help you, then it's pretty much not going to be enforced. Yeah. You're not going to send people to North Dakota to enforce upon it. I mean, let's face it, we're almost our own little country when it comes to arms, so.
He's not wrong.
It's a great thing.
We're going to be back with another segment with Cody. I have one more gun bill to go over, and then we're going to hit a couple of odds and ends.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with 1 truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues.
Thank you for your patience and understanding.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that the most condescending, rude email you've ever received?
Well, welcome to
National
the third term of a certain president. I really believe that.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with 1 truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water. the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York to go. We deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Welcome to No Apologies on Beck, your after-hours oasis of sanity. I'm your host, Rick Becker, co-host Lori Hintz,
Hello.
and our guest, Cody Schuh, political commentator.
Happy to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate being on again.
Comment hater, that's what we should say.
Yeah.
You're a political comment hater.
Yeah, well, whatever. Whatever you want to call
Republican,
it.
you conservative.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna hit a couple, 3 fun things, but one more gun bill that I wanted to go over. This one is 1293. This is another one of mine. So this one was a constitutional carry improvement bill, and it was like really shooting for the stars, and it was gonna essentially be anyone can carry anytime, anywhere, more or less.
Pulled back a little bit.
Yeah. They watered it down, but I mean, we made some good steps. You know, you can shoot for the stars and be happy when you land on an asteroid or something, right? So there's a couple of things in this bill. They did a couple of things with regard to hunting and so forth, but there's 2 things. For constitutional carry that was passed in 2017, you had to have a license and be a resident of North Dakota for a year.
Correct.
Now, a good constitutional carry law wouldn't require residency.
Correct, yep.
We put that in there in 17 because we did not think it could get passed otherwise, because we were right in the heat of no DAPL.
At that time.
But we've changed it to 30 days now instead of a year. So it's more reasonable.
Is that not in line with voting?
It is. However, well, I hate to get negative, because again, I'm just so happy with the legislature for what they're doing. But I think there are about 20 constitutional carry states, and I think we're like the only one that has a residency requirement.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, because when you think about constitutional carry, last time I checked, as long as you're a resident of the United States, a citizen, you should be able to carry. But we're making progress. That's good progress.
We are. And then the other thing is, North Dakota had in law, if you can open carry.
Yep.
However, it must be done during daylight hours.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
So that got taken out.
Well, that's a good lead.
Because most of the muggings and stuff, when you need to use a firearm, are obviously just going to happen during the daytime.
During the
Never
daytime.
at parking lots at night, or back alleys, or
Right.
checking a noise in your backyard or anything like that. It's always going to be during
Daylight
the day.
hours, yep.
Right. Well, the other thing is in North Dakota. I like the idea. You can open carry until 11 o'clock in July.
True.
But only till about 5 o'clock in December.
Right.
Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's all true.
Anyway, so that's improved. So happy. I just am so happy with it.
Yeah, we're making some great freedom strides.
I tell you what, and you know what? As hard as especially some legislators got beat up for red flag, we should tell people, if you're a pro Second Amendment person, you should
thank your
senators. Legislators, because they are doing something you want. Because I know over the past several years they've done a lot of things that you haven't wanted. But positive reinforcement is important, and they deserve it. So let's move on. Tell me about Biden. I was going to say Burgum's. Biden's ATF.
Is there really a difference?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
A lot of age.
Oh, true.
Okay, ATF director pick.
Yeah, David Chipman. He was involved with a lot of scandals along with the ATF. I believe he was in ATF service for 25 years. He was involved in a little thing called Waco. You guys remember Waco?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He actually, as far as I know, the picture has been verified by a couple of organizations, but he took a picture with the rubble of what happened at Waco. And as you can see here, that is in the background there. There's, Americans were burned to death back there. So he's just casually taking a picture with that, just because. But yeah, he was also involved with the Mexico office during the whole Fast and Furious with ATF.
Oh, he's got all of the scandals.
Gun running.
Good
Yes,
heavens.
yes. And then he also worked for Bloomberg's and gun control and Gifford's gun control groups.
No.
Yeah. So he's he's worked for both.
Wow.
And he's a firm believer that there should be a waiting period for purchases. He's against modern sporting rifles, so AR-15s.
Oh my. This is the new ATF director for Biden?
He appointed. Now the Senate could,
decline.
So if you are a North Dakota resident and you don't want another Waco, I would suggest contacting
So this guy is totally cool with gun violence so long as it's done by government.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes.
Think about that. Ruby Ridge too?
Well, I don't know for sure. I can't confirm that, but he was in service way back during that time, because you got to remember Waco and Ruby Ridge were pretty close.
Yeah, they are.
Right.
But yeah, during all that, I mean, it seems like that was forever ago, but with this kind of administration, you can expect more things like that if you have, really strong beliefs, and if the government doesn't like you, they're willing to come to you with force.
Janet Reno. I've been sitting here like, what was her name? It was Janet Reno that did Waco.
Yeah.
I remember
the Ruby Ridge, if federal laws like HR 127 pass, there will be more Ruby Ridges.
Oh, yeah.
There,
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
More people just...
Not North Dakota, though.
No.
And that's the thing to keep in mind is we have a group, an organization of people that are actively looking to hurt Americans, that are Americans. We are always so concerned about foreign wars and foreign entities like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, whatever. But there are other Americans that, for whatever reason, believe that your Second Amendment right is a huge threat and that they should use the government's weaponry to hurt you and your family and everyone you love.
True domestic terrorists.
Correct. Yeah, and the thing is, they're going to play with that line, though, under this administration. The idea of a domestic terrorist can be something as simple as saying, I don't like the Biden administration.
Exactly,
that's a MAGA person. Exactly. That's a domestic terrorist, and their
MAGA equals terrorism.
Agree. Exactly.
And that's what you have to be careful of, and that's why you should contact your senators and try to get this guy stopped, because he is not... You got to remember, Biden said he wanted to bring the aisle together. And
what's his name again?
David Chipman.
David Chipman.
Yep.
Awesome.
Got it.
All right, let's talk closer to home. How are you're keeping apprised of our governor's actions, and what are you thinking? Are you anything going on there?
Well, I'm really glad that there's people like you that are putting up a fight against the governor, because I feel like with the endless amount of money and the rest of the GOP, and I don't want to say everybody in the GOP, but a lot of people in the GOP seem to be scared of the governor. I remember there's a lot of rah beforehand about saying, hey, we're going to put up a fight, especially after all this COVID stuff. But it seems like a lot of people, as soon as he walks in the room, start backing down. And there's a certain somebody in this room that I've noticed has kind of picked up the pace a little bit on getting on his nerves. So I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. If he does stuff I agree with, I'll say it.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting.
Just waiting.
It could happen. It could happen. You might be surprised.
Yeah, with the whole COVID situation and the mask stuff and just how everything was handled, and we're looking at South Dakota as an example, I can't say that I'm very proud of how North Dakota handled COVID. And now that we're moving forward, we're still playing this game of, when is the government going to back off? And
yeah. When is Bergen going to end the state of emergency?
That's a good question.
Have you been outside? I don't know if you've been outside.
Yeah.
Are things in dire straits?
It's pretty chaotic out there. People are driving under the speed limit.
I know, right? How dare they?
Yeah, but yeah, and that's the thing. What happens if we have a real emergency?
Exactly.
Then what?
And how long is that emergency going to last?
Or is this just a dry run for a real emergency?
Great questions.
Right. Well, the legislature is hopefully going to be putting some restrictions. There's been a couple little ones. The mask mandate, we'll see if he vetoes that. That I'm really, really looking forward to seeing.
We're going to get to that actually and see other people's ideas in mailbag on that too.
All right.
Thank you.
Cody, thanks so much.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. Mailbag is next, and then off the cuff, stick with us. If you leave too early, it's at your own peril.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
Watch No Filter with me, Debbie Schlussel, for no-nonsense, unfiltered analysis of the news that matters to you. You'll see engaging guests,
It began a 444-day nightmare.
entertaining analysis, and it has everything to do with something that happened in history, and honest movie reviews. Trust me, this is just atrocious. No Filter with Debbie, weeknights at 10 p.m. Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go. We deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Mailbag.
Oh, that was a
Nice
cool little
yeah.
computer laptop one. That was nice.
Okay, it's no apologies.
Amused.
It's still Beck, and we're in mailbag.
And mailbag, what we do is we go and we take at least the last weeks or sometimes even further back, and we get our feedback from you, the viewers, and we really appreciate your feedback. So we're starting with an email that was sent to Rick today, and this one says, "Hi, Rick. My husband and I watch your show very often.
Good.
We were tuned in last night, Thursday, to hear about Joel. So this was a while back now. As you said, Juneteenth isn't a big issue, but for Joel, to treat you the way he did was so wrong on very many levels. He has taken himself to a new low for sure. Because you have a different opinion than him, he now is trying to cancel you. What has happened to freedom of speech in our country? The left is so far out there, they can no longer handle it when people don't agree with them. What a sad day for our country. I thank you for all you do for our great state of North Dakota and fighting for our rights and freedoms. Also, thank you for sharing the video when Bill 1323 was being voted on. Who else would have done that for the people? We the people. You're right, nobody. You are the next Rush Limbaugh. From this day forward, when we hear the voice of Joel, we will turn the channel. Him trying to cancel you will boomerang on him, which he very much deserves. We will be sharing this with friends who will also cancel him. Keep up the good fight. We are right there with you every step of the way. Thank you."
Well, very nice words. Very nice words. I'm not even close. Not even. I'm like a speck compared to Rush Limbaugh. But that's super nice of you to say. Essentially, all we're doing is just bringing you the news and bringing you information the way we see it, and that you may not see it elsewhere, and that's it.
Well, thank you.
Very nice.
That was very nice. So the next one comes from a Facebook post, and I alluded to this earlier. This one is, on the left is the query that we asked it at No Apologies. Will Governor Burgum sign the bill that prevents him from issuing a statewide mask mandate? And everybody's thinking about that. We're all wondering about that too. Do you want to look at some of the answers? Or do you want me to go for it?
Go for it.
Okay. Will he restrict his own power? 2 chances. 1, slim. 2, none. Not sure. He's tried to get the House and Senate to be his scapegoat to no avail. Bigger question, if he does, will the House and Senate be steadfast? Will the House hold the vote tally, and can the Senate get one more vote for the veto-proof majority? Great questions all. He should realize he's been in error thinking any man can order another to cover their nose and mouth without their consent. And the last one says he should, but in no way do I believe this man will sign a bill that restricts his own power. So those are strong opinions. These are further ideas and answers from people on this question. Somebody says he better. Yes, so he can still pretend to be a conservative and get elected for another term.
Well.
Bet he won't. Doubt it. He doesn't want to give up the power he assumes he has. Not a chance. Hashtag not a chance. Good question. I'm guessing no. And the last one says doubtful. So it's interesting to see what people are thinking the governor's going to do.
Yep.
Do you think there will be enough votes to override a veto?
I think it's very, very close.
It is very close.
Very close, because we already had more than enough in the House. However, there may be some that flip back, not wanting to counter the governor. It's hard to say. There may not. They were short, I think, 2 in the Senate. Could we pick up those 2? Hard to say. In the past, the Senate has sometimes, which doesn't matter, it was Dalrymple at that time. Maybe things are different senators. But in the past, the Senate has been more likely to accede to what the governor wants. So would we lose votes there? If I had to pick which way I would place my money, I would say if he vetoes, he might win that one.
The other thing is I was thinking the phone calls and texts and emails might begin again anew to the House and the Senate en masse if they feel like finally, okay, we're going to get this passed, and then it gets stopped once again.
Yep.
Because there is a very large contingent of people who feel that their freedom is being infringed by the mask mandate.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting
Definitely.
to see. So, all right, this next one is just a generic promo that we have on our Facebook page. It's just our No Apologies with Becker. It's a little short video there. And this one just showed up recently. It says, let's get it straight. What Beck purveys is nothing more than trash in a hick setting that seeks to outdo Fox News. So I take umbrage only at the hick setting, because I'm very, very proud of our fancy schmancy set here. I do not find this at all hickish.
I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you. The plants
All
are
right, that's
very,
our-
very hickish.
The only hick part of it.
Well, but they're bad.
But your Bourbon Bureau
Bourbon Bureau's
that's not hicky at all. That's my
My
opinion.
mom used to hate it when I came home with hickeys, I'll tell you that.
I really did not need to go
Yep,
there.
she
I
hated
really
it.
did not
She
need to go
hated
there.
it,
All right,
hated
did
it.
you have one on your
I do.
phone that you wanted to read to?
All right. Hi, Rick. I see governors making statements that they will not be accepting illegal aliens from the Biden border surge. However, I have not seen anything from our governor. Have I just missed it? Or is our governor going to accept these people? Hoping not, but I don't have a lot of faith in him. Would love to hear your opinion. Keep up the good work.
Great question.
Yes. Well, my opinion is that there should be measures taken, strong statements made to oppose that, because we're not talking about refugees, we're talking about illegals coming into the country. I will tell you that on March 23rd, Burgum sent a letter to the Department of Health Secretary opposing the transfer of detained migrants to North Dakota. So he did that, right? We have to give him kudos for that. He could be doing more. There's no doubt about it. He's certainly not on the forefront. He's certainly not putting himself out there. He's taken the happy medium, doing the least amount he can, but he's still doing something. So there you have it. He did something.
Good news.
Bravo.
All right. Well, there you have it for Mailbag. When we come back, we're going to do a very fun off the cuff for you.
Nice plant.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hey, welcome back. It's No Apologies on Beck, and this is the 5th segment. Thanks for hanging with us. You did it. You made it. You can go another 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
Right? This will be fun. We are doing an off the cuff. Off the cuff is basically I pull the stories of interest. He gives a liberty or freedom-minded answer in his perspective with no preparation whatsoever. He's like always like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm not going to do anything. This is great. No work. No work. Just handle it. Handle it, Chica. All right. So here's the first topic I have for you tonight, and this is Border Czar. I'm just going to call her Border Czar because she was named the border person. Kamala was named the border point person. Border Czar Kamala Harris has not had a press conference for a full 3 weeks since being named to the post. She has not visited the border. She has not specified plans to do so, and I'm just kind of wondering what the holdup is. Since March 30th, Harris has been on record for only 2 border-related tasks: a phone call with the Guatemalan president, Alejandro Giammattei, on March 30th, and then a call with Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador on April 7th. I just like saying Obrador. It's fun. You have to roll your R's. Both Harris and White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki have claimed the vice president plans to visit the border region soon, but neither has supplied a specific date. President Biden also has not visited the border region since taking office. My question is, what's the holdup, and is this a manufactured crisis, a problem, a slight issue, or is this border crisis even a real thing? Because they don't seem to be paying it any attention whatsoever.
Well, I think it's a real thing. We know that there's this surge because of an understanding throughout Latin America that Biden is not going to be sending people back, or that he will be accepting them. There will be amnesty for everyone. It's not as though, even though a lot of things haven't officially changed, the idea was that this is what's going to occur if Biden's elected. He's elected, so people are coming. So there is a crisis. There is something going on. There is a tremendous mishandling by the administration. The fact that they identified it as a crisis because they appointed Kamala in charge. If there was no crisis, if there was no issue, they wouldn't have appointed anyone. There's nothing to point them to.
Right.
So the fact that they took the step to make her the czar, as you call it, she needed to follow through. They needed to follow through. There has to be something done. Now, what could there be done? The problem is that they are kind of running against themselves because they don't want to bring attention. If she goes, she's bringing more attention, which is the last thing they want. They're like, hey, look over here, there's racism and white supremacy.
I was just going to bring that same thing up.
And
like,
not
if we
over
cover
here.
our ears and our eyes enough and don't notice it because there's all of this Minnesota unrest manufactured all of a sudden.
And I will point out, again, the double standard and hypocrisy from the left, because this is like egregious.
It is.
However, if Trump had gone down, he would had to have gone down to the border to deal with the crisis personally, number one.
Right.
On a specific day chosen by the media, because if he had gone too soon, it would have been for photo ops. If he had gone too late, he would have been remiss in his duties.
Yep.
So it's predetermined. If it would have been Trump, or really probably any Republican, it would be deemed a failure. He would be deemed as making the crisis worse. And what we're seeing here is the opposite. There actually is an overt failure. Nothing's being called out. Nothing to see here, folks. So, wow.
It's just a terrible humanitarian crisis. That facility in Donna, last I heard, was at 16 times capacity. I mean, it's these children, I mean, it's horrendous. And so but I think it's really interesting, though, that there's deflection going on by the complicit mainstream press saying, oh, look over here, there's fires in Minneapolis. I think that that's a very good portion of it. And that's what I'm suspecting is the issue. I think that's probably why the delay, because they want to try to change the narrative and change the story.
Right.
So, all right, my next topic is, this is really interesting. This is an article that I found in The Blaze. And this article says face masks are polluting beaches. So a report from Oceans Asia from last year estimated nearly 1.6 billion face masks flooded the oceans in 2020. The group suspects that discarded face masks would result in an additional 4,680 to 6,240 metric tons of marine plastic pollution. The Hong Kong-based Marine Conservation Organization claims that the face masks would take as long as 450 years to break down. Now, in addition to that, they had another one that says it's noted that face masks are easily ingested by higher organisms such as fishes and microorganisms in the aquatic life, which will affect the food chain. And finally, chronic health problems to humans, one study noted. Plastic pollution is so widespread in the environment that this is the part that really got me, that you may be ingesting 5 grams a week, the equivalent of eating a credit card, Reuters reported. That was just a crazy visual to me. Now, the thing is this made me immediately think about DAPL.
Okay.
When DAPL happened, you had these people who were so egregious in their horrendous pollution and garbage mess left over afterwards. Everything that they had tried to push as their narrative was erased by watching bulldozers pushing piles of refuse around on this thing. My question is this just another case of unintended consequences? Or is it something, aren't these the same folks who are pushing mask-wearing the Green New Deal people?
It's ignorance.
It's just ignorance.
It's complete ignorance. We see it over and over and over again, primarily from the woke crowd. This is like a Jerry Seinfeld episode. He had an episode where frozen Snickers suddenly became a thing that everyone had to be involved with. So there's groupthink, there's herd mentality with the woke crowd. And so they jump on board and, oh my God, you have to do this because of whatever. It used to be you had to have bottled water. Oh wait, except for all of the plastic bottles.
Right.
Each thing, you have to have wind energy, except that wind energy takes up a bigger carbon footprint in theory. Or you have to have an electric car, except that comes, at least at this time, from coal burn. They don't think past the obvious virtue signaling first step. They don't think past that, but it's because they don't care about what's after that. What they care about is being accepted into the Borg, the Borg of groupthink, left wokeism. It's an embarrassment. I tell you what, if you know someone that is dealing with that illness, help them out of that.
I've got one more, and it's a quote from the late, great Rush Limbaugh. I'll let you look at this here. The idea that Republicans are running around harboring, or conservatives running around harboring all kinds of hate is disturbed. In fact, it's just the opposite. We love people. We love our country. We want the country we love to be great, to be the best it can be. I just want your take on that. Do Republicans hate people?
That's absolutely true. Well, I'm gonna go to conservatives, not Republicans, because Republican is a party.
True.
The conservative train of thought, the conservative philosophy is one that is the most compassionate. Maybe not on the surface, because you aren't handing out free stuff.
And you're also not doing it publicly necessarily
right.
either.
But it respects the dignity of the individual. It embraces aspiration, whereas liberalism, in the sense, progressivism, embraces envy. And that's what it comes down to. You have a choice of living your life with aspiration as the embodiment or as envy. Those are the two choices, and that is it.
Fantastic. So well done. I knew you were going to knock it out of the park again. We will treat you to some encore presentations. Beck Sports presents live hockey coverage of the ACHA Division II National Tournaments this weekend on Beck. No Apologies will air on Beck.news. Write that down, Beck.news, if you want to get your fix of No Apologies. And I will see you in quite a while. I'm going to be gone on a trip to Dallas for the RNC in between here. You'll have a guest host next time, so see you soon.